Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in to my review of what I think is one of the best small ultralight fixed blades on the market right now, the White River Knives Backpacker. We're going to talk all about it in this video, so stick around. All right guys, let's get into this package here and tell you what we got. So we got a black Kydex sheath there, nicely riveted, lots of really good retention on this. You can see that there's a little hole right there for drainage and blowing out dust and so forth. We got that actually on both sides, so that's worth pointing out. Talking a little bit more about the sheath for a second, it's made with material that in my opinion is probably thicker than it needs to be. This is a very stout, very tough sheath. I think they could have gone with some thinner material on that, and honestly, the retention is a little bit stronger than I feel like it needs to be. I would like that to be just a hair less. Or they could do something where they put a little ramp into the Kydex, kind of stretching that material, bending it a little bit right here at the opening, so that as I, the user, kind of go to press that Kydex out or press on that sheath to remove the knife, I don't want to always have to yank on it from my neck or whatever position it's in. I like being able to kind of slowly, can't do it with this because it's so sharp there, slowly kind of press that out and take it out slowly when I feel like I need to do that. And can't really do that with this sheath, so I do wish that they would make a few improvements on that. And I actually talked to the guys down at White River Knives when I saw them at SHOT Show, mentioned that to them. They said they are working on some improvements to the sheath, so again, I haven't seen those yet, but hopefully we'll see those in the future. Just to show a little comparison of what I'm talking about as far as the ramp is concerned, there's another kind of backpacker style knife, little neck knife here. This one made by Rainier Knives, and we're going to show you the review of this one shortly, but that's the perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. You can press on that, remove the knife real easily, but it still has nice strong retention. So the ramp is maybe the only change I would add to that Kydex sheath. It'd be practically perfect at that point. Moving away from the sheath and getting onto the knife itself. So let's cover some specs on this guy first. We have a blade length of about 3 inches, an overall length of just under 7 inches, and a blade thickness of 0.13 inches. So a good stout piece of steel. It's completely skeletonized underneath that wrap job right there. So we just have one big sort of empty hole. This is basically the exact same template they use for their caper knife as well. So that one, basically they've just thrown some really beautiful handle scales on there, really nicely finished handle scales on there to make the caper. The backpacker is just the cord wrapped version of the knife. The weight on it, about 2.5 ounces. Very, very doable. So put that into the sheath, strap that onto your backpack, your LBE, whatever, and you've got a pretty stout little knife there for almost zero weight. While I've got it handy, let me do a quick comparison side by side with another knife that I think works really well in all of those applications, the SE Azula. The two of them are side by side. You can see that the White River Backpacker is slightly longer, and in my opinion, aesthetically, way better looking. Ergonomically, is it better? Not necessarily. I think they're almost on par with each other. They work basically about the same, but the backpacker is slightly longer. The weights on them are going to be very comparable if they're different at all. Honestly, both of them are very good knives, and that's why I own both of them, but I'll leave it to you to decide which one is better for you. So pointing out a couple ergonomic points, you can see that we've got this great big scoop right here, finger choil type of a thing, allowing you to get a very deep grip on it. That protects your finger from accidentally sliding forward as you're doing some cuts. It also gives you this very kind of a pinchy grip on this whole area right there. We've got some very aggressive jimping. You can see that. Cut away in the spine. That will probably, might just barely throw some ferro rod sparks. I haven't actually tried that, but the rest of the spine is pretty well rounded, so I don't expect any functionality like that. But again, ergonomically, it works great. For doing some of that sort of hard hammer fist sort of carving, what I found works well is to choke back on it a bit so that this rounded area right here, right there, is sort of in the center of my palm. I get good control over it that way, but also I don't have all the hot spots that come from that pressing into sort of my pinky or this whole area down here. Rather than having that happen, I just kind of choke back on it and do that work, and it works just great. Let's give you guys a nice close look at the blade grind. Cool little logo on there. I like the White River logo, it's very attractive. But nice high grind on it, not full flat, but that doesn't really matter. Coming to a nice fine tip, as you can see there, which again is very, very useful. I wouldn't say it's overly delicate, but for the size of the knife, certainly you want to be judicious in your usage. And lastly, just talking about the finish on it, it's a very attractive stone wash finish. Really, really well finished off, guys. So at the $90 price tag, which is what this knife comes in at, I actually think it's very much worth that much money. Now, again, I bought mine from Blade HQ. White River did not send this one out to me, although they probably would have had I asked for it. I just wanted one of my own. I don't have a caper yet. I may yet buy one of those. I think that that would be a great companion piece, or kind of a nice comparison piece to have next to this one. As kind of a final word on this knife, I would say that it's got really good ergonomics, extremely great aesthetics. It's really nice and lightweight, so it's extremely packable, as the name suggests. And for the price tag and the S30V, yeah, I think it's worth about 90 bucks. And that's basically my review, guys. I'm the Late Boy Scout. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.